Howdy y'all, Aidan Scrivens here with Guitars to be Played in Nashville, Tennessee. You've probably heard a lot of buzz online recently about a certain giant guitar manufacturer becoming particularly litigious about a certain body design. We're not saying one thing or the other, legally speaking here, but what we will say is that we think that there are a ton of excellent alternatives to the Fender Stratocaster on the market. And what we wanted to do was show you guys what we think are some of the best alternatives that money can buy at the moment. We're going to go through brand by brand, give you a little bit of a rundown on some of the things that we think make those instruments and that brand special, the niche that we think they kind of fall into, and kind of give you an opportunity to hear them side by side with some of the other ones. So sit back and enjoy. Based in Santa Clarita, California, LSL Guitars was started in 2008 by Lance Lerman. Originally as a shop dedicated to building exceptional recreations of vintage instruments that had now become completely prohibitively expensive. Over time, it started to evolve into a much more varied custom shop. And now they really take a lot of pride in helping people spec out their most wild ideas and most varied interpretations of what their dream instrument could be. As a result, you have a shop that's really skilled at running the gamut from very authentic vintage recreations to much more unique specs. And I've kind of got two of those extremes here with me right now. This is a 50s series Satakoy from the Chris Fleming series. Now, Chris Fleming used to run a certain litigious brand's custom shop for a long time, and he has a wealth of knowledge in terms of building vintage specific instruments, built up over decades of time spent understanding them and spending loads of hands-on time with them. If there are elements from those guitar designs that you really enjoy, but maybe you want to try it with 3 P90s, with a chopped T-style bridge, 5-way pickup selector, and maybe you prefer the ergonomic shape of an offset body. All of these things can be talked about, and you can find some really cool designs already in existence. And if you don't see it yet, they will help you make your dreams into a reality. Next up is Xotic Guitars. These come to us from Van Nuys in California. And as you'll see when you look at this headstock, you have seen this brand before, but it's probably more likely that you've at least just seen the pedals. You know, their RC booster, their AC booster, their EP booster, their BB preamp, and so many more of these real staples on pedal boards across the world. The company was originally founded in 1996 by a luthier called Hiromura. The first sort of pedal foray that really helped launch his brand internationally was the Robotorque. Now, Xotic still reissues that pedal. It's a really cool pedal, and it still is today. It's worth checking out if you're looking for something funky. But Hiro was also an exceptional luthier who was building really custom bespoke basses and bass preamps for a lot of session musicians and touring musicians in LA. In 2014, Hero departed the Xotic brand and went on to make his own basses that he still does out in LA. After Hero left Xotic, the team at the shop used a lot of Hero's designs, as well as combining all of their experience together to shift over to a slightly more team-built, custom shop approach to building guitars. That way they were able to make some core models, still honoring all of the hand-built care and attention to detail that Hero was known for, and build an incredible line of instruments that are super consistent and usable for touring musicians nowadays. If you were to ask me what things stand out to me most about the Xotic guitars, I would say one thing that they've always been really, really good at is sourcing incredible pieces of flame maple. The necks feel super slick. Some of them have a bit more of a lacquered feel, but a lot of them have a really, really slick, almost like a gun oil finish, satiny feel to the back of them, which feels really, really comfortable and really fast to play. Sonically, they are really, really resonant, and they have a ton of that kind of high frequency clarity and string definition that I think really set them apart. I don't know if you could pick it from the lav mic or the room mic that we have going. I'll always remember the term that Tim Pierce coined for it that I heard him use, which was sprang, which I think is such a great term for it. That top frequency, those top frequencies, that clarity and that string definition that feel really, really nice. There's enough bottom end to everything to feel like it's still, you know, a great punchy instrument, but it just has so much clarity and definition, which is really cool. The Xotic Custom Shop has also settled on a 42.4mm nut width on these guitars, which is kind of a perfect balance between a lot of the older models that we've become accustomed to. It's kind of between those classic Gibson nuts and Fender nuts. You don't notice too much of a jump either way. It feels really comfortable in the hand. You've got plenty of room to do all kinds of cowboy chord shenanigans, and all the way up the neck. These things are always built to such exacting standards that you've got plenty of room. The fretwork is great. These things absolutely burn. So if clarity and note definition and some of that high frequency zing is really your bag, I highly suggest checking out Xotic Guitars. Shabat Guitars come to us from Los Angeles, California. Avi Shabat started the company in 2012 as an experienced luthier and live touring guitar tech. Now, he'd had experience repairing, restoring, and recreating exceptional guitars from all sorts of different ages, and it's still a family-owned, run, super small team building custom instruments for a bunch of different artists and touring musicians and professionals across the world. Things that we really like about Shabat, we think some of their colors are really, really cool. I'm personally completely enamored with this aged champagne sparkle finish. They do a bunch of really cool relic work, and the sort of custom color over a three-tone sunburst or over another color, really, really awesome as well. And they have these great sort of iridescent two-tone paint jobs, like the two that you see in the outside here, that, you know, depending on how the light's catching it, you see a slightly different color. We think those options are really, really interesting. They've also got really great wood selection too. We see some really nice dark roasted flame maple. And the headstock designs are cool too, how they do this sort of stripe by their namesake, oftentimes matching colors and things like that. The relicking on the necks on these are really cool. It has that kind of worn-in, lacquered feeling. We have something like the Xotics, which are really slick with that kind of oil finish, that satin gun oil type finish to the necks. That's really slick and very nice in a different kind of way. These feel more like those necks that you'll grab onto on a vintage instrument, where the lacquer is still there and you know that it's there, but it has that kind of shrunken in, worn in feeling. I personally am a huge fan of RV and the Team's fretwork. It always feels so easy to fret anything, to vibrato anything, to bend anything, anywhere on the neck. Every note rings really, really confidently and true, and that's not something that I can say about most Fenders that I've played, if I'm honest. The fingerboards are always really nicely rolled on these, and it's really set off by the fact that these frets are always dressed impeccably. These are really, really comfortable guitars to play, and they sound even and balanced all the way up and down the neck. Mario Guitars come to us from just down the road. Here in Nashville, we're about 40 minutes to an hour away from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where these guitars are made. Originally a signed touring artist and professional musician turned luthier and guitar manufacturer, Mario Martin started the Guitar Mill in 2005. They were a luthier shop, and they still are for the record. And they build guitar bodies and guitar necks to be shipped to manufacturers across the country and to private consumers looking to build their own parts casters. Mario was really well known for sourcing incredibly lightweight wood, and beautiful wood at that. So we have a lot of different combinations of wood that come in at incredibly light weights. 2009, they opened up the Guitar Mill Custom Shop, which was later rebranded as Mario Guitars in 2011. Whilst Mario was able to source exceptionally lightweight bodies and necks, it wasn't until they opened the custom shop that he was able to personally pick and choose between all of those bodies and necks and parts and find the ones that match together most ideally. Which is why when you get a Mario Martin guitar, you will find it to be exceptionally light, but somehow also balanced. This guitar weighs 6.2 pounds, which is startlingly light. When you are handed one of these guitars, you often get that experience of when someone tells you a guitar is light and hands it to you, and you grab it and you go, oh, no, that really is an actually incredibly light guitar. Both of these are this. This is 6.2 pounds and this is 6 pounds. These things are practically floating away. They have a ton of different ways that they achieve this. They source really great lightweight wood, but they also use a lot of palomino in some of their builds. However, Paoletti sometimes has a history of not standing up to the stress of string tension over time very well, but they know this, and as a result, with their straight Paoletti builds, they use some dowels under the stress points that help it perfectly cope. They also have bodies that are made with an ash center block and Paoletti on the sides, which has a really nice tonal characteristic, but also helps keep the weight really low down, but keeps the center of that body that will be undergoing the stress from the strings far more manageable. They've been making necks and bodies for a long time, so as a result, the finishing on the bodies and the necks is incredible. They've really mastered that shrunken in old neck feeling, and the fretboard edges are rolled so comfortably, they are really a pleasure to play. They've also developed some really interesting models over the years, and my personal favorite is this one that I'm holding right now. This is the Honcho. The pickup set is a custom designed set with Lindy Fralin called the Honcho set, and it's basically a S-type configuration, but with a T-type pickup in the bridge. And not only that, but this T-type is mounted on a steel base plate, which is a huge factor in the sound of T-type guitars. You also get the 6-point trem that you often get on the S-style guitars that you don't often get on the T-style guitars. I really feel like when I'm playing this guitar that this is the perfect compromise between those two models, and it helps alleviate some of the less attractive qualities of the S-type, most notably that kind of useless bridge pickup. Another added bonus of the guitar mill is that if for whatever reason down the line you were to decide, oh, I love this guitar, but I kind of wish I had a rosewood neck, or I kind of wish I had a maple neck all the way around, then you are perfectly set up to get a replacement neck that you know will balance well, will fit perfectly in the pocket, and will match the same finishing techniques of the neck you already love, and will look cohesive with the body that you already love. So, if you're looking for something a little bit unique, or if you're just looking for a really exceptional lightweight guitar, I really encourage you to check out Mario Guitars. The story of Paoletti Guitars is about as unique as the guitars themselves. Started in 2005 by Fabrizio Paoletti, these guitars are made in the Tuscan hills, in a town called Quarata in Tuscany, in Italy. Now Fabrizio's family used to make Chianti wine in the region, and Fabrizio saw a lot of the old, now disused wine barrels made of this gorgeous chestnut wood, and decided that they had a higher purpose. Using these old wine barrels as wood has been the staple of their design since then, and they have offered a ton of really cool features you don't often see. Chestnut wood is really, really resonant, and it offers a really unique tonal character to a lot of these guitars. It's not hurt by the fact that a number of these models are also made as semi-hollow designs. Chestnut is a really lightweight, obviously visually gorgeous wood, which offers a lot of tonal characteristics really well suited to this type of guitar. There's a little bit more body and low mid bloom to the notes, and there's a beautiful sort of smoothing of some of those otherwise edgy, high-end frequencies. From unique pickup combinations like this P90 single one here, these semi-hollow designs seen here, they all have a really unique flair to them. The relic jobs, the color over color finishes, the very clear wood grain, that chestnut wood just has a really beautiful and consistent dark feathered grain to it that I think is a really visually appealing thing. Environmentally conscious from the ground up, there's a lot of ethos in reclaimed woods, repurposed, giving second life to different materials. So if that is a factor to you at all, these might be a really interesting option. For whatever reason, whenever people come into the store, significant others of guitar players always pick these ones out as their favorite. This is unanimously the most living room approved guitar. So if that matters to you in any way, if you want to be able to hang this guitar on your wall at home, then look no further than a Paoletti. Next up, we've got Friedman Guitars. As you can see on the headstock, this is bearing the name of renowned amp guru, Dave Friedman. These guitars were designed and built originally by Grover Jackson in 2016, and now they're being built by Billy Rowe in San Francisco, California, who also is responsible for Rock and Roll Relics. So as you can tell, this is a collaboration of a lot of great minds in this field together, and I think they've landed on something that is both really unique and really specific, in the sense that I think they really speak to an era of vintage instruments that have been modded in that sort of golden era of rock gods and guitar heroes for modern players. Aesthetically speaking, we've got this sparkle finish. It's a dense sparkle. You know, there is a lot of light reflecting this way and that on these guitars, and they are hard to miss, which goes 100% towards building that air of, you know, the spandex-clad rockers of the 80s. So these guitars wear that influence on their sleeve proudly. There's a bunch of very player-centric design choices, like truss rod adjustment here on the body of the guitar, compound radius fretboards from a 9.5 to a 12-inch radius, and something that Grover Jackson did in his original design in 2016 that's really interesting are these zero-shift neck pins. So he'd encountered a number of times where, as musicians were touring with instruments with bolt-on designs, the neck could get knocked out of position a little bit in the pocket. And he was trying to find a way of mitigating that as much as possible. And he came up with this idea, which is basically two metal pins that act as dowels that help keep that neck and that pocket aligned. And as a result, the pockets are always super tight on these guitars, and for what it's worth, we think it really helps transfer more energy throughout the whole instrument. The sustain on these guitars is really good, and the pickups in it are Friedman's own proprietary pickups. Much like the aesthetics and everything else, they really sit in this world of the modded guitars in the 80s for those rock legends who just wanted a little bit more out of those instruments. So we think of these pickups as being vintage inspired in the sense that you get plenty of clarity and transient attack, but now you get a little bit more low end. It's kind of the best of both worlds, and if you're a fan of all of those awesome sounds and sights from that specific era, I think Friedman could be absolutely up your alley. Now, for a slightly left field option for a Strat alternative, we have Fano Guitars. These were originally designed and built in 2001 in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania by Dennis Fano, who now we may know of from Novo Guitars. Now, the original designs that he came up with back then were very much so in line of blending disparate elements from across the guitar pantheon and helping musicians find their own unique instrument that blends all the different elements that they were after. It gained a ton of popularity through the 2000s and early 2010s, and though he is no longer affiliated with the company after leaving in 2014, these guitars are now built in Phoenix, Arizona, and they still absolutely live up to the incredible reputation that they've always had. The Alt De Facto range, especially of Fano guitars, always feels like you're holding something truly one of a kind. The color offerings, the metallic paints, the relic jobs have always been top notch. The wood selection is excellent. The pickup combinations, the hardware options are all entirely bespoke and unique to the very instrument that you're holding, and you never really lose sight of that. One thing that I tend to really enjoy about these guitars is they have a certain aspect to the string tension, which is really hard to describe. I'm going to give it a go, but we'll see what happens. It's by no means high string tension. That's also not to say that it's even slightly. I don't feel like bending on these guitars is any more difficult than it is on any other. But there's something about the slightly higher string tension or feel of that on the lower strings that make it a lot easier to pick through for alternate picking or for chugging away down low. It's a really nice blend of balanced string tension across the neck, and it's very comfortable to alternate pick on. Mishmashes of different body styles and aesthetics offer a lot of very unique options. So if you're looking for an alternative to a Fender Strat that definitely does not even slightly resemble a Fender Strat aesthetically, then I think that you might find some really cool options in the Fano catalog. CP Thornton guitars come to us from the mind of Chuck Thornton, based in Sumner in Maine. These instruments immediately strike you as being drop-dead gorgeous. Their finishes are so exacting in detail. We have a few other guitars of theirs that aren't in this style that have amazing tops, and we're always seeing them come in with more and more impressive things going on. I personally am a sucker for this side stripe, you know, teal and cream combination that's going on here. One of the cool things about basing the operation in Sumner in Maine is that he has access to some of the most spectacular exotic woods you can find on this planet. This Hot Rod HTL2 series is made from Nootka cedar, for example, and it has a really, really cool, unique tonal characteristic to it. They're really accommodating of a lot of different kind of specs, so if you wanted to custom spec one out, there's tons of options. Some options that are on this one that I really enjoy are things like the blend pot. So as a quick understanding of that, say we're in this position here on the neck pickup, we can use this blend pot to blend in the bridge, and vice versa, if we're back here, we can blend in the neck pickup. It's all very, very intuitively wired, and it really works well to add an infinite number of extra tonal possibilities live and in the studio. We think that CP Thornton Guitars do an exceptional job of building just a really, really refined, beautiful instrument. They play fantastically well, and they offer tons of unique spec options if you want to go down the custom route. So there you have it. Those are the brands that we think offer the strongest alternatives to the Fender Stratocaster at the moment. Now, for the lawyers watching, I want to make it abundantly clear that we are not saying that these guitars are Fender Stratocasters. We believe they are exceptional alternatives to the Fender Stratocaster, and hopefully, after hearing it and knowing a bit more about them, you feel the same way. If there's anything that you liked in this video, or if you learned anything, or you saw something you didn't know about, then we'd really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. And if there's anything that you saw that really piqued your interest, maybe a brand that you didn't know about that you'd like to hear more about, then drop a comment in the comments section below and let us know that you want to see more of that, and we can do a more in-depth review of that specific thing. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Y'all come back now.